Just because there are no QU football games this fall doesn't mean we can't talk a little pigskin. Here to chat it up, socially distanced here in the studio, is QU head football coach Gary Bass. Coach, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
All right, so you've seen the schedule the GLVC laid out for spring 2021. Give me your thoughts about what spring football is going to look like, Great Lakes Valley Conference.
Well, it's going to be cold. It's not going to be near the warmth we're used to for sure, but I know the biggest thing for us as head coaches when we sat down and we talked about wanting to build this schedule was trying to make sure that we kept our kids safe. I know having a 5-game schedule in the spring isn't exactly what we want from a length of time and the number of games for each kid, but having the ability to make sure we try to keep and limit the number of reps for those kids just because of the injuries. I mean, it's so much easier from a football standpoint because of the physicality of the sport to get an injury, and the last thing you want to do is have a kid lose another year of eligibility because of an injury in the spring. So.
Now, it almost goes without saying, and the phrase has almost been worn out by this point, but these have been some unusual times, especially for someone like you being a college football coach. So what have your days consisted of being a coach during a pandemic, during a fall where there's no QU games? I would still imagine it's still as busy as ever.
Yeah, it's a different kind of busy in a lot of ways. I know with trying to make sure when everything first started and getting everybody back, trying to make sure that we were COVID friendly and trying to make sure we were following all protocols by state, federal, and QU guidelines from that standpoint, Adams County Health Department. Just trying to make sure we keep our kids healthy and safe. As coaches, I know we did a lot of troubleshooting, trying to figure out different ways that we could, one, maximize the ability to be able to get onto the field, get into the weight room, and things of that sort while keeping our kids healthy and safe. But, I mean, it's definitely been challenging in a lot of rights. I definitely think it's also made recruiting that much more interesting. You've got a totally different recruiting cycle than normal from a standpoint of not playing any games. You have the ability to have people on campus and a lot of rights. And once the Division II lifted the dead period and we could start bringing people on campus, it was nice to be able to show them a little bit more about what Quincy's about. So been a little bit different busy.
What have those recruiting visits been like?
It's definitely been a lot different from a standpoint of usually when we do our officials, you're talking overnight visits, you're talking about a lot of time spent with the kids. Because of the COVID stuff right now, you don't want to subject the people here on campus to someone being here for an extended period of time. So that was the first thing we had to do. And the second thing was trying to make sure that we didn't expose the people that were coming onto campus possibly to someone that could have it as well by chance. So trying to shrink them down, make them a lot more individualized instead of having 5 or 10 people at different things, only having 1 or 2. That way you can get in for 3 or 4 hours, get what you need to get done, and be able to get them on their way. So they've been nice in a lot of ways, though.
Absolutely, absolutely. And props to everybody involved for making all that happen. Now, you guys won 5 games last year. You guys have improved every single year you've been the head coach the last few years. Now, obviously, you can't improve on that win total because you're only going to play 4 games that count this year. So what are going to be some signs that you're going to look for come spring of improvement in this team?
Well, the other good thing about only playing 5 is it gives us, since we're only playing half our season, no one loses a year of eligibility. So even if our freshmen do get on the field this spring, regardless of the number of reps, no one's going to use a year of eligibility. So we're going to have the ability, in my opinion, one, to be able to see a lot of the young kids get on the field. We want to win. We're going to try to win as many as we can. But it definitely makes you feel a little bit better as a coach knowing, hey, look, if we don't get a freshman on the field more than 15 or 20 snaps, it's not the end of the world. You didn't burn his red shirt. So for us, a lot of it's going to dictate how many people are we allowed to have. Are they going to shrink the number of people we can take to away games from 60 down to 50? Are they going to shrink the number of people we can dress from a home game, which we usually dress somewhere around 75 or 80, down to 50? So, I mean, a lot of that's going to depend on that. But for our guys, it's one thought process only. The biggest thing we wanted to do as coaches was still give our guys the ability to play for a conference championship. And if we can win our first 3 games, we will have the ability to not only play for a conference championship, but we'll have the opportunity to play for a conference championship here in Quincy, which will be awesome.
We're looking forward to it, certainly. And it's just exciting to have QU football back, knowing it's going to be back, even if it's just for a few games. Now, for those of you who may not know, Coach Bass here is a Tennessee Titans fan and coach.
Yes, Derrick Henry, baby.
Their Titans moved to 5-0 overtime victory over the Houston Texans on Sunday. And Tennessee is one of only 3 undefeated teams left, along with the Steelers and Seahawks. So Titans are still undefeated. How about that?
Hey, I'll take it any day. Right now we're getting to watch so much more football with it being a normal not a normal season for us. So it's kind of cool to be able to sit back and watch more football as a coach, be a little bit more of a fan.
How about this run right here? How good was this?
Well, Derrick Henry is a man. He is a large human that can run. And watching someone that big, they should not be able to run like that.
That just defies the laws of physics if you're asking me. Well, hopefully the Titans can keep it rolling. Another tough game this week against undefeated Steelers. Hopefully the Titans can keep it rolling and keep it rolling on into January and who knows, maybe February.
It'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Coach. Always a pleasure. Hopefully we can catch up again soon.
Thank you.
All righty. So we have another big man in charge joining the show. When we come back, Coach Eric Ruppel of the QU men's lacrosse team will join us after the break. Stick right with us.